in and he goes, "It's time." I'm going, "Whoa." Okay. Why is that funny? This is like it's crooked or something. Well, that's what it is. What can I say? So, dropping stuff left and right, and it drives me crazy. Hold on, let me. Oh, this is what I'll work to get this up. There we go. Good morning, everyone. It's Monday. Can you even, October 26th, I can't even believe that Halloween is here. And the other thing, or on Saturday, the other thing I'm going to say too is this morning is the first day we've turned on our heater. So just take the chill off and all of that. So, anyways, we went to the cabin this weekend to just make sure it's, got its winter boots on and all of that. And the electrical apparently is going to be going out for a couple of days because of big windstorms here. So crazy because I think it's going to end up being about 70 here. And then what I saw on the news this morning is that a lot of you guys are getting slammed in the United States right now. Kind of an early winter, I think. I have to smile because in California, the weather changes mid-October. And you've got all the kids that have they want to be ballerinas for Halloween or Tinkerbell or whatever, because they plan this, like in August when it's hotter than the hinges. And then so now when they come to your door, they are in their woolly mucklucks with, maybe a little Tinkerbell, whatever, hanging out of it. So I think how we're going to we've never gotten a lot of kids at Halloween here. And usually we're in Houston, So what I think I'm going to do is just make little different piles of goodies. So when you come, you take a pile. And if somebody comes and takes it all, well, then hope they can sleep that night. So, and then for the neighbor kids, I am going to, I've put together little bags of stuff and I'm just taking it over now. So also, we started watching Coco last night, the Disney movie on, not Disney, Pixar, excuse me, and it's about the Day of the Dead. And it was really quite adorable. And I will finish watching that today. So I adore you guys taking advantage of the forum. And before we get into looking at your work, I want to show you, Molly put this in and I thought, okay, this is brilliant. So Molly, it looks to me like you were working upstairs with a pitched roof. And she said that she just can't stand all the piles of fabric everywhere when she's quilting. And so she put up this ballerina bar and then she's hanging her fabric on that. And she said she was inspired by the little series that we did on Studio. So Molly, thank you for sharing that. I thought that was really cool and I had not seen that before. So Susan asked me, it was either on Wednesday or Friday, about how to finish, if you have your baskets on point and you've got different edges. Well, let's take a look at this. And this is as big as the picture I can get. I can make it bigger, but it's going to pixelate a little bit more. First of all, I love this. It's very soothing to me, I'm going to say. And I was thinking, how can she do those inset triangles? Because, okay, on the top, it's no big deal to do the quarter square triangles there because there's a rhythm to it. But then down at the bottom, I don't know, this is haunting me, okay, Susan? That's my boo for today. I'm thinking that the edges are all going to have to be regular. I just don't know how you can do it otherwise. I'm really enjoying looking at this and trying to solve this puzzle, but this one is a puzzle and I just think it has to be like the top row. And that might mean making more blocks. I think the top row is even, I'm looking, but I just think those quarter square triangles are going to have to all be the same. And so I know that's not what you're going to want to hear, but when I answered you, I thought that's not right either. So I hope you're watching, Susan. Okay, this is Stellar Designs. Okay, now this is fabulous, don't you guys think? So her big comment on this was that it's hard to work on a small design wall. Yes, it is. So let me tell you what I do up at the cabin. If I were a bedding woman, I would say that that's foam core board that you have flannel or fleece on top of. When I'm working on a big quilt up there, I will just push, I will have two of these and I push them together. And so then all of a sudden now your design wall has expanded in size. I love how you've done your fillers, your spacers. I mean, this puppy is ready to go in my book. You still have to get some of that filled in, but I have no doubt you can do it. You are on the home stretch, lady. And the other thing is I thought, man, I would not have thought to put yellow in. But then I realized what your focus fabric was, which the baskets on the right-hand side, 1, 2, 3, up to the top, have that in it. So if you're ever stumped for color, go get yourself a focus fabric that inspires you. I think you should be very happy. And I also like that 4 patch that's about at 9 o'clock. I didn't put any 4 patches in mine. I don't know why, because that is really quite handsome. Okay, so this is Deja, and we're going to look at Deja's, and we're going to look at Helen's. Okay, you guys, are you sewing together? Are you doing that? Because these look remarkably similar. Don't tell us if you're having sew days, just be safe. So let's look at Deja's again. We are at Deja's. Let's look at Helen's. Totally fun palette. The only thing I'm going to point out, and I'm hoping you guys that I'm not stepping on toes, is that it looks as if you have an applique in the upper right-hand corner and at 9 o'clock. And what's happening is you're losing it. You're losing it into the background. Let's talk about the upper right-hand corner, okay? So the problem is, I think that's an applique. Yeah, that's got to be an applique or something. But this is a little trick you might want to think about doing. I have no idea if it's going to work or not. But if you haven't sewn it down yet, in the upper area where it's on dark, what if you just put a little bit of white behind it so that, and then maybe on the bottom, no, you wouldn't want to put dark. That wouldn't work. But somehow get a little bit of light up there so it can differentiate what's going on with that applique. It's also going on at 9 o'clock. I want to see what that is, and I can't. The other thing that both ladies did was look at that pinwheel in the top center. That's super clever. Super clever. And you can see that Helen did it. Or maybe did the same thing. Where is it? Thought I saw it in here. Oh, there it is at 9 o'clock again. So these two just made me smile. Are you guys buddies? Come on, come clean on this one. All right. Because there's no way 2 quilts could end up like that if you weren't communicating online or sewing with each other or whatever. So to me, those 2 quilts spark a word of friendship. And just as I'm blathering on, I am going to show you how I'm solving the border on my quilt today. So that's Helen's. All right. Let's go to Tuja's. I hadn't seen it, a big one in blue, and it's absolutely beautiful. Look at 11:30, between 11 and 12 at the top. Okay, I am digging on that. I can't stand it. The basket of stars. I don't know if you made that up or if you found that somewhere, but that is really unique, really. And I would not have thought of that. Maybe you did it. I don't know how you did that, but man, that's cool. And then I like the way that you took the stars and then smattered them in other parts of the quilt. The other thing is you've got those dark backgrounds. Let's say like at 7 o'clock and then up at 1 o'clock. I like how your eye has to travel through the quilt and they're not all in one area together. But I'm telling you, that basket star thing, nice. Georgia. So Georgia got behind on the cafe and is incorporating it into the baskets. And she said, are you headed in the right direction? Decent? Oh, yeah. Yes, you are headed in a very decent direction. I'm very excited to see how this turns out because I think you've got an what do we say, winner winner chicken dinner going on here. And I'm not sure what the four corners are, in as much as if you're thinking about doing a sashing out of that or somehow it's going to be incorporated in as a design element. I don't know. But yes, and I would have not thought to put green in. It's fabulous. You don't have too much, it doesn't overwhelm, but enough to have your eye carry over the whole surface. So you keep going, Georgia. Okay, this is Numerson. This is silk, guys. This is a silk quilt made of silk ties and silk dupioni. And I have to tell you, this stopped my heart. Now I'm going to caution you on one thing on this. Okay, I am a maven for neutral quilts, okay? And I love that you have the shots of the blue, that you have the shots of the orange. I am concerned about that inner border of orange. There, if I would look at the left hand border versus the right hand border, and there's something very, very subtle that's going on. Consider, and I'm guessing that you're having to put an inner border in because of the math. That's what I'm guessing. You might consider doing a scrappy neutrals inner border. Just try it, okay? Just try it. And I would love to see a photograph of it. I mean, what you've got going on here is just amazing. And I want to talk a little bit about, okay, this is, where are we? Okay, silk. Where can you get silk besides Dupiani? Well, I'll tell you where you can. And Lilo, I hope you're watching. Uh-oh. I got these silk ties for Lilo. And I'll tell you where I got them. She wants to do a silk tie quilt. Lilo, am I making you drool? Oh, these are beautiful ties. Look at this. Look at this. They're going to go out in the mail to you today. I only paid 50 cents a tie. So here's where you need to get these ties. You need to go in an area where there are professionals, but maybe where there's not a ton of money, because these were 50 cents each. I think locally in Livermore, they're 50 cents. Yeah, these were 25. These were 50 cents. And I think I've paid up to $1. But then I went to a more touristy town and they were like trying to get like $2. And I'm going, forget that. That's too much. Look at these. They're going to go out today, Lilo, or tomorrow. You can be very happy. So I wanted to throw that out. Okay, we've got Mexico, Argentina, Australia, Trinidad, Tobago. Where's that? The islands. UK, snowing in Canada, US, all over. Yes, I know that is. Okay, let me get back to you. I'm going to get to these in a little bit. Let's keep looking at things here. So I hope that's okay that I said that about this silk quilt. And I'd be curious what you guys think. It's just so good. I don't know that the orange adds anything. Okay, and I love this. This is Edie's, and she actually, I recognize that fabric. It's from an older line of mine, and I think that this is so poignant where we are right now. Now, one of the things in talking about borders, I'm going to say, and this is the exception to the rule 100%. I typically don't like putting, just like when people put a border on, like they slap it on. Well, here it makes sense, okay? It makes total sense. And the other thing I would consider doing, Edie, and this, you're either going to love it or go, ugh. You have a lot of negative space going on there. And there's something quite wonderful about that negative space you're carpeting. I don't know that I wouldn't play that up with different hunks of neutral fabrics. It's just, there's something illuminating about this. And I think if you stuff it full of baskets, it may take away from the center, or it may not, the balance may not be there. So I'm just throwing it out there. It's your quilt. You can do whatever you want. But if this isn't a mindful quilt for what we're going through today, I don't know what is. So before we get into, I'm going to show you what I decided on my borders. This is the cliffhanger. But before we do, I want to go through what do I think about when I do a border. Paul, insert triangle for each block, making them smaller, longer to make them come out even. Okay, this is back to Sue. Inset triangles for each block. Okay, making them bigger and longer to make them come out even. I'm not sure what you mean, Paul, but yeah. And so, Sue, I hope that makes sense to you. Maybe you guys need to get on the forum and chat this up. Hey, Sue, why not satin stitch around it in contrasting threads? Shoot, I wish I knew which one you were talking about. I miss you, by the way. How did I press the back of the cherry basket? I probably did press the rows open in retrospect and thinking about that. I have here's Susan. I have the on point baskets and would not recommend an on point with a variety of sizes blocks. I had to measure each 1/4 square opening and have one side done. Yeah, I think when you start combining sizes, you have yourself a problem. But Susan, I really want you to figure out this quilt because it is beautiful. It's serenity in my book. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look at, I'm hoping, John, I need some Kleenex. This is not good. Help! I need Kleenex. We both came, we had a huge windstorm. Oh, God, thank you. Oh, my God.
Go to the document camera.
I got the document camera while I wipe my nose. It was super windy here. We both just woke up with our noses exploding. It's calming down. Take vitamin C. That's what I'm doing. Okay, so I make a quilt like the one behind me. There are certain tricks that I go to, or certain considerations, and I want to go through some of those with you right now in looking at some of the quilts that I've done. All right. Wait, did we? Oh, yeah, we did. Okay. So this is a Cafe basket quilt of mine, and the border, this is on point, and there we go, Susan. They are all the same size as all the blocks. The border is made up by actually the 1/4 square triangles. And so you've got the yellow on top and you've got the red on the bottom. So I thought, why, if I'm doing these polka dots and I have a bunch of different colors, why does it have to be the same all the way around? Now, mind you, this quilt is very organized, and a lot of these basket quilts are more scrappy feeling, but that is one border. That's a trick that I use all the time. This is a cherry basket quilt of mine that is actually up at the cabin. And I love this quilt. It was made in my very first book. I mean, it has stood the test of time. And so I wanted to combine two different baskets. I want you to look and see how I have kind of done a zigzag with on the outside edge with the little the little postage stamp basket. And I know without looking that those baskets were finished at 4.5, because that's what I was into. And I like how you've got the squares on point going down, and it kind of mimics what's going on when you rotate these baskets back and forth. So there's a rhythm going on there. And you can see between the cherry baskets and the squares on point, that's where I figured out the math so that it would all fit. This is my very first basket quilt. And the border actually are the 9 patches. And this is I don't know why I took the picture in the book. I don't know why I don't have a better picture. But anyways, again, I set the on point 1/4 square triangles on the outside edge, but then in this case, the real border are the 9 patches. They don't have to be on the edge to catch your attention and be the finishing thing. Okay, so what I'll do, this is Under the Sea, and we had this as a pattern. I don't know if it's still on the website or not, but we had a kit for this. And so I did the zigzags. Those were those half square triangles? I believe they were flying geese. I believe they were. But a flying geese is actually made of, it's basically half square triangles, right? Not necessarily sewn that way, but it screams triangles. And so on the sides, I put those squares on point, going down, doing the quarter square triangles. And then I broke mentally, I broke those quarter square triangles into pinwheels. And I kept the math the same all the way around. I didn't have to change it. Whatever the component size was, and I don't know, probably it was 3 by 6, those flying geese, which would mean those pinwheels would be 6 inches square. But there was no need for an inner border at all. And I mean, I could have done an inner border, but honestly, I think it would have killed it. There's something about the flow through the whole thing. So just because it says inner border, or just because in your mind you think quilts need an inner border, that is not necessarily true. Okay, so here's a quilt actually that hangs out at the offices. And I was making this, it was based on an antique quilt that I saw somewhere, and it needed a border. So, what was I going to do? Let's look at the components in this quilt. What can I replicate? Okay, you've got half square triangles. So, to me, that says that's fine, or flying geese. And then you've got rectangles, you have squares. So those are the components that I would play with in order to decide what to do on the border. So I went to flying geese. Honestly, I couldn't remember what I did from 1 second to the next. It's beautiful. And again, it didn't need an inner border. There's something flowy about it. But I love that the white is what is on the outside surface or the outside edge because it kind of floats it. And honestly, I don't remember what I bound it in, but probably you've got the orange, I either bound it in the turquoise where the orange was, and then orange where the turquoise is. I would have taken advantage of that particular design opportunity. Bindings are as important as anything else. I'll show you this now, speaking of that. So this is a circle quilt that I did for the movie that never happened. It was supposed to be on the Persian Pickle Club, and this was the quilt that was going to be hanging in the opening shot. And so I knew I wanted to do this particular pattern because it would have been very indicative of the 30s. But it was really quite boring. And I decided for the border to put those quarter fans, which is basically how the whole circle is made. And it still wasn't right. It was flat. So I decided I was going to do something extraordinary in the binding, and that was to do a zigzag binding, of which I paid somebody else to do it. But very subtly, I put in those little 4 patches to fill the spot. So while we're talking about the finishing of this quilt, that's what's making this whole quilt, in my ever not so humble opinion. Okay, this is my universe quilt, and there's no border. Well, no, actually there is, and it's white, and it helps float the whole thing. And so sometimes a border, you just are extending the edges so the whole thing floats a little bit. Okay, so this one I put in because I wanted my hand quilting to show. But if one fabric is good, why not two? Why not three? Now, I'm going to go back to the silk tie quilt, and I'm sorry, I forget your name. But if you were to just like put a neutral in there for an inner border because you have to, look at those three little things on the right hand side down about at 5 o'clock, 4 or 5 o'clock. Why couldn't you insert a couple little orange pops there? And then maybe at 11 o'clock. Why not? So did I on this one? No, I just did it there. Okay. So here's my wonky silk. And that was the one that will never be square because I couldn't block it. This really had a lot of opportunities for a border. Now, from choices. So, okay, I did the flying geese on the left and the right. But then at the top and the bottom, I did just shapes from the quilt, just shapes. And I think the reason I could get away with this is because it was a solid quilt. Had this been out of fabric, I think it would have been too much. But I'm sticking to the shapes in the quilt. And you can see I'm working towards something. So on my border, which I have here, I originally wanted to do like half square flying geese around the edge, something to mimic the triangles that are in here. And then I thought about doing even just half square triangles. It was too much. It did not work. So what other shapes are in here? There's squares. All right. But wait a minute. There's a ton of rectangles. A ton. So I decided to do left. I decided to just do coins here. And because I kept it at the same measurement, because I didn't throw in an inner border, I could keep it at the same measurement. So let's put more up. John doesn't like it. But you know what? I don't care. And I don't mean that to be poopy, but guys, we're artists. And in the end, in the end, we have to do what satisfies us. He really, excuse me, I know you're seeing my better half. He really wanted me to put an inner border in it to calm it down, and I liked the craziness of it. Right? Here we go. I really like this. I don't agree with him. But in listening to him, I did try this. I thought, okay, let's go on the top here. You know what? Actually, I got another footstool out so I could come back farther. There, that's better, huh, guys? There's my impressive tripod. I thought, okay, if I wanted an inner border and I don't want to screw the math up at this point, I could put an inner border on the top and the bottom. Just a little spacer. I'm looking in here to see it better. No, I like it butt up. So let's put this back down. The other thing I want to show you is that the top turns. It turns a different direction. That's okay. You don't have to do a partial seam. Just turn it when you get to the end here. I wanted it to march around looking like a partial seam, but the fact of the matter is it's not a partial seam. So what do you guys think? Is John right? No, I don't want an inner border. And the other thing I could do, actually it's really interesting here to be watching it on the camera like you guys. Because there are no points on the outside edge, I could see inserting a 1/4 inch whitish flange and then binding it in the darker burgundy. What you can do, because I know everybody doesn't have this set up at home, is take a picture with your cell phone. In the olden days, we had something called reducing glasses, and it's opposite of a magnifying glass. And so you can really see, this thing's crooked again. You can really, let me get this up. If I can't stand it, I know you can't stand it. There, either my footstool's not flat or My table's not flat. You can snap it with your cell phone and take a look at it too. But a reducing glass is the opposite of a magnifying glass, and it gives you perspective, especially if you're working in a small space. The other thing you can do is take a hand mirror, like my back is to my quilt right now. Take a hand mirror and look in the hand mirror, and that will give you perspective of the whole thing. Okay, let me see what you got. Get rid of its overlays. Susan, it looks great. Separation brought on by the rectangles. Yeah, I like it. And I'm going to be sewing this thing together. So I'm pretty darn happy about this. And it is absolutely 100% not what I thought it was going to be. I've said this many, many times that quilts have personalities and you just have to flow with them. Actually, I like it a lot. He kind of shook me up and got me freaked out that I was on the wrong path. So, okay, now see, Linda would rather have a plainer border. You can do that. You can do that, Linda. It's your quilt. I'm just into these insane pieced quilts right now. Insane. So here's what you need to know. A burgundy binding will close it wonderfully. Okay, so here's what you need to know. We're slowing down this week. I'm slowing things down, okay, because I know a lot of you have a lot of catch up to do. And so I saw that in the forum and I honor and respect that. We will do faces next week, but faces are a no-brainer. They're just for fun. We ran out of Appli-Web. We're going to get more in, but any sort of fusible will work for you. But we aren't shipping right now either. And I said that. What's happening as far as with TQS is, and the moving of the offices, Suzanne's filling orders, and Julie today and tomorrow of what came through. I warned you about this. And then they are packing like mad. Justin's coming to California. I can't wait to see him. I don't think I can not hug him. And then we are getting the keys Friday afternoon. We're going to be moving junk in. And then on Monday, the movers come. And hopefully we can start up shipping again quickly because Justin's going to stay on a little bit. I'll be out there shipping. If you get the wrong order, don't complain. I probably packed it. And we're going to go from there. But for the faces, somebody asked, can a beginner do it? People, this is child's play. This is absolutely child's play. And what I'm going to do are show you some faces quilts. I'm going to show you how different people have done it. And then I came up with my idea that would make my class a little bit different. So I'm pretty darned excited about that. It's a fantasy thing. It's fun, just totally fun. Okay, way too busy. I don't want... Yeah, see, that's the thing. And so John's reading a book right now. We're trying to get permission from the author and or Penguin Books. If you know anybody that you know at Penguin, please email me. It's about creativity, and you have to do what makes you happy. It's all that matters. And that's what makes this whole quilting scene so interesting, because we all come with different paradigms. So should we be collecting fabrics for our avatars? Nah, just you'll be digging in your stash, okay? It is child's play. I actually called Freddie. Oh, okay. So before next week, I have an assignment for you. Make sure you've watched the Sujata and Freddie show. It aired maybe a month ago, and make sure you watch the Freddie section for sure. Also, Alethia's. Go watch that show. She's different than how I do it, but I want your mind to get going like that, all right? And if you're not a member, $19.95 for 6 months, you can't beat it. So I so look forward to this right now. I got to go out and help Suzanne, and have a good day. Don't sew your baskets. Keep going. Keep posting them. We love to see it. And, what are the sizes of the rectangles in the border strip? I think they're probably... I wonder if I've got a ruler here. Yeah, I do. Hold on. They finish at 2 inches, okay? And then I cut them at 6.5. But that was just arbitrary, okay? Just arbitrary. So have a good day, you guys. Let's see, I would put a small border between your top and the border. Okay, the appliques are the print from the fabric. Okay, Deborah. Okay, this is Deja. The applique on my 2 blocks are the print from the fabric that is in the block, flowers and butterfly. You're going to have to figure out how to have them pop out a little bit more. Okay, you can do it. John, do you have a question?
No.
No, he just almost tripped on Sparrow. So, anyways, okay, we'll see you guys later. I so appreciate you choosing to spend your day with me or your morning with me. Now let's carry on, right? And go vote.